Tathapi kirtayami yanga yada matim yada shrutam kirtim harim swam satkartum giram anyabhidha satim titir seva gatir yatra smritis chinta tutir vacha bhuyat sarvatmana vishnu mayiti vaicheshtata. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and my pranams to you all. Yeah, we wanted to discuss this topic today. Just wanted to make sure. Are you able to see the screen, please, with Gaura?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't have the time to do any slides on this, so I may just type here as I talk, so our focus can stay with the topic. Yeah. So we want to talk about Samkirtanam. Let me increase the font size. Technicalities. Okay. Samkirtanam. And this is Samkirtanam. As we have heard, this is according to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, this is the stage. This is the state that we have to be. That's the Vakya of the Acharya Thakura. And this Samkirtanam, this is the essence of all Shastra. Yeah, and all the Goswami literature. It means essence of all Shastra. So that's the essence of all the Tattva Jnana, the state of Samkirtanam. And it is also the essence of the Bhava. So, can we mute that? I'm unable to see the participants, but if somebody can mute the devotees, if you would please mute on your end.
Yeah, Mataji. Go ahead, Mataji.
Thank you. So, this is the essence of all Shastra, means essence of the Tattva Jnana. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the Vedas, Itihasas, Puranas, everything put together. All the classes that we are trying to hear, all the slokas that we are trying to by heart and recite, essence of all that Shastra is the state of Samkirtanam. So not only the Tattva Jnana, but also the Bhava. Yeah. In this Bhava, Shantarasa is there, where there is just neutrality. There is no reciprocation with the Lord. Past that is Dasya. When it is condensed, that is Sakya. Even more condensed, Vatsalya. Super condensed and super sweet, Madhurya. In that condensed Madhurya Rasa, all the other rasas are already present. So the Goswami literature is filled with that Prema Bhakti Rasa. So this Samkirtana state is the essence of all the Tattva and the essence of all the Rasa. And this is what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura Acharya is urging us to be in. So we want to look at this as an urgency from the Acharya. Okay, this is not optional and not to be done sometime later. Okay, this is an urgency. The state of Samkirtana is an urgency. So here, the reason I'm bringing up this point is, before we actually go further, the state of Samkirtanam means perfect Kirtan, right? Perfect Kirtan, and the whole body mind, heart is in the service, in the bhajan. That is Samkirtanam. Okay? And body, mind, heart is in the service, bhajan is loving devotional service. This is what Srila Prabhupada says. Loving devotional service. And this is also equal to Krishna Prema. This is also equal to Prema Bhakti. Yeah. So this Samkirtanam or Krishna Prema or loving devotional service or Prema Bhakti, this is all the urgency of our existence. Not optional and cannot be delayed. When we are saying this, what we are implying is, oh, this is Krishna Prema. This is only a goal. This is only a goal. Okay, I'll try my best now. And maybe later, maybe after 1 year, after 10 years, at the end of this life, maybe after many, many lives, I'll get this Krishna Prema. We have a tendency to think like that. It means we are limiting. We are limiting the very essence and the mercy that is flowing to us from the Acharyas. When the Acharyas are saying that this is urgency and this should be our existence, they're not saying, okay, you try your best now and then see what happens and then set your goal and maybe in this lifetime or next lifetime. They're not talking anything about the timeline. They're saying this is our existence and this is how we should be in loving devotional service. That's all they're saying. So we want to be really cautious about not limiting the mercy, not limiting the Acharya Vakyas, not putting any boundaries to what they are instructing to us. We don't have to limit this. When they are saying this should be our existence, that should be our existence, period. Okay, so that point I want to bring. With this, what we are emphasizing is we don't have to limit that something, this Krishna Prema or loving devotional service is not for me right now. It is somewhere else in the future, maybe in this lifetime or next lifetime. We don't have to think like that. All we have to think is this loving devotional service is a natural state of existence. And this is what Acharyas are instructing us to be in, period. That is what it means receiving the instruction as it is. We do not want to twist, stretch, limit, nothing. Okay? So that's the point. We don't want a limit. No time limit here. Is it happening? That's a journey, ongoing journey, eternal journey, and at the same time goal. So no limiting it with the time, number one. So not limiting with time, next thing. Not when we say not limiting with the time, we are also meaning that not limiting with so-called juniority, seniority, or number of devotional, number of years or time that we have practiced the devotional service. Not even that kind of time limit. Okay? And not limiting it with our qualification. That's one more thing. We may be thinking, oh, I'm just in a neophyte stage. I'm just getting to start knowing bhakti now. This is for somebody who comes to that stage, and then after that stage, and maybe later after that stage. They have to know about all those lokas. They have to know about all the essences. They have to have all these qualities. And maybe after that stage, I will get to understand what this loving devotional service means. And maybe I will start a little bit of it later. No. No. None of us really have any qualification to do loving devotional service at any point of time. Even if we are initiated, double initiated, senior most, and whoever we may be, we do not have a qualification to do loving devotional service at any point of time in our spiritual life. Our only qualification is Shri Guru. So whoever is accepting this Guru Tattva into their heart, then that is their only qualification to do transcendental loving service, as Srila Prabhupada calls. So accepting Guru Tattva is the only qualification with which the doors to the transcendental realm open. And in that way, we can do loving devotional service. Accepting Guru Tattva can happen at any time, not only during initiation. Formal initiation is when we take Diksha, it means we are just formally deepening our samskara, that we have accepted Guru Tattva and we practice bhakti under the shelter of the instructions, under the guidance of the instructions of Sri Guru. That is formal Diksha process, when somebody is taking initiation of Diksha. But this transcendental loving service does not have to do with anything formalities outside. It is to do with the heart. But the heart opens up when we know what our tattva is and what Guru Tattva is. We are Jiva Tattva. And Guru Tattva is a bridge where Bhagavad Tattva flows to us. When somebody understands that very fact, then they will realize that they would need Shri Guru, who is coming, who is Bhagavan personified, to give us the guidance in our life. So in that particular case, even if the devotee has not taken any formal initiation, transcendental loving service happens from that moment on, because they consider Shri Guru, Guru Tattva, as their qualification to offer any service at all. So that's important point to remember. Whether we are initiated or not, until we understand this Tattva, that Guru Tattva is the only bridge for the Jiva Tattva to receive mercy from Bhagavad Tattva. Unless we understand it and practice our bhakti under the shelter, then it means we have not started bhakti yet, even if we have taken formal initiation. But for somebody who even didn't take the formal initiation, if they are understanding the Tattva and doing the service under the shelter, then that means that transcendental loving service has begun. But generally, by that time, the person would want to take formal initiation also to be in the shelter. So that's about qualification. We don't have to limit ourselves, saying that we don't have qualification. We will never have a qualification. Srila Prabhupada said, I have created your Sukriti. I have created your qualification. Because it's only Shri Guru, Guru Tattva that qualifies us. So these 2 points want to bring to our attention. Very important. We don't want to limit the mercy that is flowing to us by giving it a limit of time or a limit of qualification. All that we need is just the desire to perform transcendental loving service. Yeah. And the only qualification that we have is Shri Guru. These 2 clear. And this brings us to the next point. Now that we have Shri Guru, who is our qualification, now that we have desired to perform this loving devotional service, how to get started. Now we understood what loving devotional service means, what Samkirtanam means, what Prema Bhakti means, where the body, mind and heart is completely in the bhajan. To draw a mundane example, when a mother is taking care of their children so affectionately, nobody have to tell her that she has to, pay attention to her children and listen to what the child has to say and then give some affection so the child can feel. Nobody has to tell her. She just does it because it's very natural of her. The love for her child, just the body, mind, heart, everything just aligns up naturally. It's all because of the affection, the desire that mother has to show that affection to the child. In the same way, we, the devotee, our desire to show our affection, love to our only Priti Vishaya. There is only one Priti Vishaya, that is Sri Krishna. Yeah. So it's our desire only. Our desire only. That will make everything happen. Okay, how does that happen? All of us, we have a flickering desire, at least a teeny bit of a droplet of desire of, to perform this loving devotional service to Bhagavan. Otherwise, we wouldn't hear this katha. So we all have it. Point number one. We all have this desire. Okay. Even if it is a flickering seed of it. Okay. Now what to do? That Samkirtana, body, mind, heart, transcendental loving service. Oh, sounds too big, right? Pure devotee, Uttamadhikari. I am too far to that stage. We are not looking at this transcendental loving service like that. We have to change our vision and perception about this. Transcendental loving service is something that can be started right now. Right now. Because if we are not doing it now, we will not do it later. If something has to happen, it has to happen now. It doesn't have to wait until few months, until next year, until next life, nothing. So how do we get that started? That loving devotional service. This we have to understand. Very important. Now. Krishna Prema now. Not sometime later. Now. How do I do it? That is, see, in Bhagavad Gita, is the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita included in the whole Bhagavad Gita? Yes, right. In 18 chapters, the first chapter is also included. What's the name of the first chapter? Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So Vishada Yoga is also a part of the yoga. Vishada is, heaviness of the heart. Arjuna was not in ecstasy, heaviness of the heart. Right? This Vishada, deep contemplation, heaviness of the heart is also a part of the yoga. In the same way, in Krishna Prema, the first step in Krishna Prema, loving devotional service is, as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has said, acknowledging that we haven't paid enough attention to the Lord in the Harinam, to the Lord outside the Harinam, to the Lord in the heart at all times. That is the first step. Acknowledge it. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta emphasizes this again and again because this is the turning point. We may not be the pure devotees now, but we can do this now. We can get this started now by acknowledging that we haven't paid enough attention to the Lord in the holy name, to the Lord in the heart, to the Lord in everywhere. So acknowledgement. When we are acknowledging, it comes with apologies. Oh, so sorry, Krishna. So sorry. I don't really want to give any excuses for this. So sorry that I haven't acknowledged you, my Lord. Not in the Harinam, not in the heart, not everywhere, not at all times. I haven't acknowledged you. I'm so sorry about it. That's Vishada Yoga. All of us in our journey, spiritual journey, our journey should start like this. Bhagavad Gita starts like this in the first chapter. This is the beginning of our spiritual journey. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta emphasizes this again and again. Not only this is the beginning, this is a parallel line that continues and is going to be with us throughout our life, throughout the spiritual journey. Even if you have come to the stage of Prema, look at all the Premi Bhaktas. They think they haven't served enough. So this is something we have to embrace. Embrace this fact for eternality, for eternity. This contemplation and wanting to serve the Lord. Yeah, acknowledge that we haven't served enough and then start serving. Because we have acknowledged, we are feeling repenting, and then now start serving. So how does that show up? Okay, I have acknowledged and I want to do it well now. And this now point is in spirituality, it is an ongoing, ever fresh. Yeah. Now is ongoing, ever fresh. So we always have a chance. Always have a chance to do better. We don't have to get disheartened and feel like, oh, I fell down now. I didn't do that better. And then we don't have to get discouraged like that. Every moment is fresh. Every moment is an opportunity for us to do better. There is no reason to get disappointed, disheartened, and collapse. No problem. The last moment, I didn't serve better. Last moment, I was disappointed. And last moment, I was this. Last moment, I was that. Last moment, I was so fallen. No problem. Every moment is fresh. We just have to get up and keep going. So every moment is a fresh one in our spiritual journey. So we always have an opportunity. Okay. For what? To show this. Now that we have acknowledged and we want to pay attention to Krishna, so that will come out as attention. Yes. So sorry, Krishna. I haven't paid attention to you, my Lord. I want to pay attention to you now. This is the beginning of Krishna Prema. Loving devotional service is starting right here. Something we all can do at this moment, and at all moments, try it again and again until it becomes our very nature. So please understand that this voluntarily putting attention. Yeah. We don't have to wait until the attention becomes involuntary, absorbed. Those are further stages. But for anybody who is starting bhakti, this is something we can do at all times, at every moment. And that is the beginning of the Krishna Prema. That is also loving devotional service. when the mother is lovingly caring for the child, even though she's tired, even though she has so many things to do, even though her mood is not so good because of whatever has happened, still she gathers herself, voluntarily try to see what the child needs. That is also love. So please note that we all are in this journey, and this transcendental loving service, this Krishna Prema already got started. We are already walking in that path. And each moment, each time we are paying attention to Krishna, we are putting a step ahead in the journey. So we want to be very grateful to actually know this, to be able to do this, right? If only our Guru, Sri Guru, has not given us this mantra, this bhakti, and the way of performing this bhakti, we would not be what we are at this time. The mantra that we are given, the jnana that we are given, the mood that is being given to us by the acharyas, and the opportunities that are provided like this now to know further about this bhakti. Every bit of it is given by Sri Guru and Krishna, not accidental. So if we step back and think, how grateful do we feel? This wave of gratefulness should pervade within us. It should literally pervade within us. If we are not grateful, our head is going to be hot, our heart is going to be cold, our body is going to be heavy. If we are grateful, our head is going to be cool, our heart is going to be warm, our body is going to be light. As literally as it sounds, that is how we are going to feel. We are not being poetic here. This is very practical. You experience yourself. When we are ungrateful, please see what happens in your head, what happens in your heart, what happens in your body. And when you are voluntarily trying to be grateful, this is not artificially trying to be grateful, simply acknowledging what has been given to us. That's all we are doing. And perceive what happens in your head, what happens to your heart, and what happens to your body. Head is going to become cold, cooling. There's not a lot of manufacturing, factory heat there. And heart is going to be warm, soft. And the body is going to be lighter, not tensed. That's the beauty of being grateful. That's the effect of gratefulness on our whole being. All we have to do is simply acknowledge what is being given to us. We are not doing anything artificially here. We are just voluntarily acknowledging. Okay. So this gratefulness, and when we are feeling grateful like this, nobody have to tell us that you have to pay attention. Your heart is just there and your attention will be just there. If it is the Harinam, then your heart is just there with the Harinam. Your heart is so soft and flowing with this gratitude for the Guru, Sri Guru and Krishna and Harinam. And outside the bhajan, it's the same heart. It continues to flow. And the reciprocations that happen outside the bhajan will be on the same note. This is how our gratefulness in the bhajan spills out and can spread throughout the day. So this is how gratefulness, gratitude, and attention is the first step in Krishna Prema. If we are each time we are voluntarily doing this, inside the japa or outside the japa, it means we are doing transcendental loving devotional service. This is the very beginning of it. And this will continue. When this attention, when this gratefulness deepens, when this attention deepens, and by the way, when we are acknowledging how grateful we are to Sri Guru, Gauranga Krishna, and Harinam, then humility naturally comes. How insignificant am I? And how dirty am I with all these modes? But still, Harinam, Krishna is given to me by my Sri Guru. And I am being engaged in the service of the Lord. Inside the japa or outside the japa, whatever service is being given to me, I'm engaged in the seva of Govinda. So whatever action I am doing, if I'm doing this with this consciousness, that how insignificant am I? And how disturbed and confused was I? But now, Sri Guru gave me this shelter, gave me this Harinam, gave me the service that I'm doing now, whatever service it might be, mopping the floor or deity seva or cooking or talking or any capacity, whatever action, thought or whatever deed, word or thought may be, is still a service. If it is towards Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna. So that way we are being engaged in the service. Even if it is a thought about Krishna, even if it is a word about Krishna, even if it is any action that is coming out as a gesture to please Krishna, Krishna on the altar, Krishna in the holy name, Krishna present in the heart of the people, anywhere, it is all service. So if we are doing our deed, action and thought with this thing in mind, how insignificant am I? But I am being engaged in this service now. That humility. And then gratefulness is already embedded there. Attention is already there, right? So this combination of how insignificant am I, but I'm being engaged in this bhajan. Bhajan is service. And when it gets more matured, it starts like this attentive service. But when it deepens, when it ripens, it becomes love. But still, it's a mango. It may be a green mango now. The green mango, the same green mango will be a ripened sweet mango later. So we are still mangoes. Though green, we are still mangoes. Though we are not fully ripened, sweetened, though we don't have that ripened, sweet and loving devotional mood, but still we got started, we are on the way and we are part of it, right? So the journey already has started. And again, this is also Krishna Prema, attention, gratefulness and humility. This is also Krishna Prema. The only thing is when it gets more deeper and deeper and more continuous, then it gets to further stages. Further stages of whatever is described. Pratipadam Purnamrata Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam, that stage where only Krishna is seen everywhere, at all times, everywhere. inside people, outside people, at all times, and wanting to serve with all fondness at all times. No specific reason, causeless. This is Sarvatma Snapanam. But that Sarvatma Snapanam starts with this. Yeah? The whole thing is Krishna Prema. The whole thing is Krishna Prema. Right? So we are already doing it. Because we are already doing it, we want to be grateful. And we are insignificant, not qualified for this, but we are given a chance to this. Humble. And combination of it, attention will come. So this is how we get started with Krishna Prema. The goal should never be forgotten. Goal at all times, not somewhere in the future. When the goal is present in front of us at all times, it becomes a journey. This is what we want. Krishna Prema to be our journey. We don't want to set a time limit. We don't want to limit ourselves, that saying that we are not qualified. Of course, we will not be qualified. Shri Guru is our qualification. On that note, we are always qualified. There is no excuse because Shri Guru is our qualification. So this has to be our journey. Loving devotional service, it means has to be every day, every hour, every moment. Again, when we say every hour, every moment, we mean this one. We mean this one. This particular part is in our hands. To be grateful at all the times and to acknowledge how insignificant we are. So, paying attention to whatever service that we are doing. And it is unsaid. It is unsaid. A combination of this just gives us a joy. It's just a joy. Joy in the very beginning itself, in the very first step itself. And this is something that we all can do at any given point of time. Try our best. Okay. This will actually immediately put us into Krishna samsara. Trinadapi Sunichena automatically happens. So we don't have to think, oh, Trinadapi is somewhere else. I don't know if we can get there. No blocks in between, please. We simply hear from the Acharyas, and our qualification is our Sri Guru. We acknowledge we are insignificant, and we want to be grateful. When we are being grateful, anything that is negative within us is displaced automatically. Don't have to worry about kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Everything will be displaced. Here we are with Sri Guru as qualification and wanting to serve Govinda. Why will all that darkness be with us? Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Everything gone. Confusion gone. When the sun is there, the darkness is not going to be there. So we don't have to be worried about the anarthas and negativities that we have. They are going to be washed away. Our focus is only this. Grateful, attention. Yeah. When our focus is this, it means the sun is rising. Then the darkness will go away. then why to put the time and effort and our consciousness in getting rid of the darkness? Just turn towards the light. Right? So I was going to say AAA to remember this. Yeah, which is in our hands at all times. AAA at all times. That is, acknowledge how insignificant we are. Yeah, acknowledge how insignificant we are, and then the humility is already there. And attention to what we are doing, and do it with affection to Govinda. If we are doing this at all times, try to do it at all times. Try the best. We don't have to beat ourselves up. We don't have to beat up ourselves to be grateful. Simply acknowledge what is given to us now. That's it. When that lighter wave takes over, then there is relief. Then there is some, with the relief comes happiness. And then, of course, the attention will come and humility will be there. So this is the message I just wanted to share with you today. Just to go over what we have discussed today. That's Samkirtanam is the essence of the Tattva Jnana and Rasa also. And it's a state that we are asked to be. It's a state of urgency that we want to be in this mood of, not only mood, the transcendental loving devotional service is a state, is urgent. We don't have to plan 5 year, 10 year like that. It's urgent. So Samkirtanam is an urgent necessity for us. Actually, this is the quote by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta or Srila Bhakti Vinoda. It was there in Sambodhana Bhashya. For Jiva, this is the dire necessity, urgency. This Krishna Prema. Okay. So this is our priority. Point number 1. Transcendental loving devotional service is our topmost priority and the urgent necessity of the moment. We are not drawing, we are not putting any limits of time or qualification on that. Number 2, all that we need is the desire to do the transcendental loving service, Krishna Prema, loving devotional service. And our only qualification is Shri Guru. When we acknowledge that, then the humility automatically comes. The gratefulness comes. And then immediately attention to whatever service that we are doing will also come. If it is Harinam, then attention to the Harinam Prabhu. It's outside the bhajan, whatever service is given to us at that point of time. Attention to that service, all of that will come. Yeah. And all this will start by first saying, oh, so sorry, Krishna. I haven't acknowledged you. I haven't paid attention to you. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the next point. After acknowledging that we haven't paid attention to the Lord, with the qualification of Sri Guru, we come to this Dainya. This is Dainya Bhava. When we say Dainya Bhava, Sharanagati, again, please do not think that it's too far. We are already doing it. Our journey has begun. Please be encouraged. Please be encouraged and please be very grateful to Sri Guru and Gauranga that the journey has already started. Just acknowledge that it has started and be enthused and be grateful and then keep moving. Yeah. So that's the first step in loving devotional service. Krishna Prema, Daimya, which is humility, attention, gratefulness. A combination of it gives joy. Joy of gratitude and insignificance. This, when slowly deepens, it will take us to Krishna Samsara, where Trinadapi is automatically followed. Again, we don't have to think of, oh, when would that Krishna Samsara happen? When would I be Trinadapi? These automatically happen as long as our attention is here in Daimya, being, acknowledging that we are insignificant servant, and as a result, be grateful and pay attention to the service that we are doing. Everything else, the other steps in the Sri Sikshashtakam, they naturally happen. Trinadapi, Nadanam, Najanam, Ainam, Datanuja Kinkaram. All of them naturally happen over a period of time. As these efforts become more continuous, then all these dots are put together and they'll become a straight line, a thin straight line. And then the same straight line will be thickened, and the same straight line will be beautified. All those things will naturally happen. All that we have to do is put the dots every moment, as many dots as possible, as frequent as possible, not as a chore, not with an agenda, and not beating ourselves up, but with gratitude, with the joy of that gratitude. Put the dots, as many as possible, as frequent as possible. Accept the mercy with all gratefulness. That's all we have to do. And then keep going. I'm going to pause here. I will pause here. We'll take the reflections for a few minutes. And I still want to hear something from Bhakti Ratnakara, from Srila Narahari Chakravarti Thakura. I think his disappearance day or appearance day is coming up this Saturday soon. So I think we will go over Bhakti Ratnakara at least for 5 minutes, just to hear the names of all those acharyas, just for that sake. Okay, so I'll pause here, I'll stop sharing, and please, all of you, go ahead now with any questions or reflections or clarity that you might need. Thank you so much for your sincere association, so we could share this message of acharyas. Thank you. Shall we pause the recording, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.